tell, just trust that I'll keep it locked in a cell. Never revealing no secrets you're keeping. These promises strong as a spell. I'll never tell. You're an angel, that's for sure. With some devil, you roar. But I like it, we on the floor. In my ear, be whispering. Used to have fun, now I'm bored. Do I miss you? Yes, of course. Think about that time when we stayed up all night talking. I could never let you go. Go on thinking about those secrets true. And I would never bet the word that I would find anyone like you. I'll never tell. Just trust that I'll keep it locked in a cell. Never revealing no secrets you're keeping. These promises strong as a spell. I'll never tell.
State your age.
32.
State your country of residence.
United States of America.
State your name.
Tom Macdonald.
Under Section 4A of the Restrictions on Freedom Act, established by the International Police in February of 2022, you have been found to be in violation of several civil disobedience bylaws. Inciting public distrust of the government, solicitation of confidential information, anti-institutional rhetoric, unauthorized assembly of civilians with the purpose of protest, and amplifying social unrest. You are a threat to world safety, and therefore you are being charged by the international police for the aforementioned disobediences. How do you plead?
You know what you call disobedience? You know what we used to call that? Freedom. And what you call inappropriate, I call necessary. And what you call lies and conspiracy and anti-institutional rhetoric, I call that the truth. You guys really think you run the world, huh? You think you can just bully everyone and cancel everything? You think you can just push us around so we all fall in line? Here's the thing. I've been fighting for the world for a long time. For the losers and the rejects and the outcasts and the forgotten. For the abused and the unwell and the disenfranchised.
Calm down, Mr. Macdonald.
No, I've been fighting for our freedoms and our safety and our survival and the way that we remember the world used to be. I've been fighting for the world.
Sit down.
No, I'm not gonna sit down. I won't shut up. I will not quit. I will not back off. I won't let you destroy everything that people have spent their lives trying to build. I have fought for the world for all my life, but do not think for a second that I will not fight against it.
That's why you're here. That's why you will never leave here.
You think you can stop me? You really think you can stop me? It's been me against the world since I was old enough to think.
War, famine, natural disaster. The world has fought it all and won. The world is undefeated. We are undefeated. One man will not change that.
You see, that's where you screwed up. They say with great power comes great responsibility. You know what else comes with great power? Ignorance. Careless mistakes. The ability to vastly underestimate the people who you have power over. And I am not alone. You can lock me up, you can hide me away, you can shoot me down like a dog in the street, but I promise you, you cannot kill me. My word, my message, my vision, my spirit will live on through Hangover Gang forever. And you know what? I guess you're not the only one making mistakes. Because when I said it was me against the world, I was mistaken. It's not me against the world. It's us against the world. But to answer your question, not guilty.
So that was Tom Macdonald, and he just released 2 new albums today. And I can tell you one thing, we are all together in this fight to save this world. He's right about that. And I am Bryn with Darklight Media, and my cohort in crime is definitely. So they actually, I haven't figured it out yet, but they took down our Twitter account today, just for, I don't know, 5 days, but maybe longer. So not too sure why that might have happened, but on the day we actually had some really interesting stuff that we wanted to come on and talk about quickly. It's just interesting that would happen. So I want to kind of first start out with a kind of breaking news story that happened this morning with regards to Jacob Anthony Angeli Chansley. He was probably one of the most notably recognizable figures in the 1.6 incident. And he Thank you. And he actually pled guilty to count 2 of obstruction, which does carry a maximum penalty of 20 years, $10,000, 2, but not more than 3 years of probation, and restitution of, I think, $2,000. So there was that going on. And through getting to know his sister, it's been very interesting to get to know her, the family dynamics. I mean, Jacob is, I mean, he is
We're going to turn now to that emotion.
shaman. He is probably one of the most kindest giving individuals that are out there. And, sure, they could have said it for any number of reasons, but not once did we hear what he had to, or what was given to him for him to plead guilty instead of going to trial. Because under our constitutional rights, we have the right to go to a trial with a jury of our peers. And he has been kept in solitary confinement since January, I think, 11th or 13th, when he turned himself into the Phoenix FBI. So, first of all, I know that solitary does not do well for somebody at all, anybody. Okay, so okay, yeah, go ahead and play that.
Testimony in day 1 of the investigation into the deadly assault on the U.S. Capitol. A House panel heard from 4 officers who defended the building from a violent mob of pro-Trump supporters. Well, we learned today that some officers were attacked with racial slurs. We want to warn you that the video is graphic and disturbing. Here is CBS's Chris Van Cleve.
In dramatic and gut-wrenching testimony, 4 police officers described what felt like medieval battle, fighting inch by inch to repel an angry mob of Trump supporters intent on breaching the Capitol on January 6th.
I heard chanting from some in the crowd, "Get his gun," and kill him with his own gun.
I could feel myself losing oxygen and recall thinking to myself, this is how I'm going to die.
At worst, be dragged out into the crowd and lynched.
As video of what officers experienced rolled, Capitol Police Sergeant Aquilino Gunell wiped tears from his eyes. D.C. Officer Michael Fanone comforted the Iraq War veteran.
You hear former President Trump say, quote, "It was a loving crowd. There was a lot of love in the crowd." How does that make you feel?
It's upsetting. It's a pathetic excuse for his behavior. I'm still recovering from those hugs and kisses. It was his supporter that he sent them over to the Capitol that day.
Capitol Police Officer Harry Dunn remains haunted by the racial slurs hurled at him like fists by rioters.
One woman in a pink MAGA shirt yelled, "You hear that, guys? This nigga voted for Joe Biden." Then the crowd, perhaps around 20 people, joined in screaming, "Boo, nigga."
But the crowd hurled more than words. 165 of the 540 arrested so far are charged with assaulting, resisting, or impeding police. The officers expressed.
I don't know exactly why this was included.
Yeah, so that was difficult to watch.
It was, because everybody that I am aware of that went for purposes of seeing Trump speak, the purposes of being supportive of a fair and equitable voting process, they all have the same story of events. It was that it was They sang national anthems. They said the Pledge of Allegiance. They
Prayers.
were all peaceful. Have you heard anything different from anybody?
There were some people saying prayers.
Right, prayers.
Yeah. Watch out.
Yeah, those prayers will get you. But I mean, the thing about it all is that, there is a really big disparity in, and we know this because we were warned, and the messages were out at truck stops where it was being told, hey, if you want to join in this event, make sure here's how to dress like a Trumper.
Yeah.
Get your, red MAGA hat, wear it backwards so we can identify you, but they won't know the difference. Have a backpack, have this, have that. And then you've got other people that will remain unnamed, teaching people how to wear black block or whatever it's called, and make sure you've got your little satchel, what have you. And guess what? He's out on pretrial release, living in somewhere else with his family.
Yep.
And he had a weapon. He profited off of somebody's death.
He incited
an insurrection, in fact, and is an owner of a company that actually talks about insurgency. So how is it that he is out on pretrial release, and yet someone who is nonviolent, and even the judge says he was not violent, was made to sit in solitary confinement because they were afraid of him?
Right.
Since January 11th. And now they're saying that they scheduled him for November 17th at 10 a.m. for sentencing in person. Now, his attorney could have pushed for that to happen today.
Right. Well, what the part that's concerning is they didn't talk about what the sentencing agreement was. It's like, oh, you pled guilty, thank you, and I'll come back with anywhere from 0 to 20 years.
Right. Well, because the sentencing comes from, I guess, the probation. I mean, I don't know. It's really, for me, I think it's up to a judge, but I'm not an attorney, so I can't really speculate on that. But on the flip side of it, you just have this guy, and
I'm going to put him back up on the screen here.
the links that I sent you.
There we go. Yeah, it's one of the links. It's just down the page a little bit.
Oh, are you looking at the Word document that I sent to you?
Yes.
The CBS News. Okay. All right, good.
So we want to go to the next video or topic. It was
well, the other interesting thing is that what I think a lot of people don't really realize, and what they've said, in fact, is that, oh, well, he's trying to use his, PSYOP Navy career. I don't understand what a PSYOP Navy career is, but he is, in fact, a Navy veteran who was medically discharged with honor. And I mean, there is such a thing. You are a military veteran, Chris, and there is such a thing as a military discharge with honor, correct?
It's honorable. There's honorable.
Right.
That's what you get. And you.
Well, so if you were medically discharged, is it a dishonorable discharge, or?
It's honorable.
It's honorable.
Yep.
Okay.
Usually it takes so violation to court martial or uniform military code of justice of violation.
Exactly.
So
he did serve. He is a veteran.
Yep.
And
he didn't deserve isolation. That's for dang sure.
No, he didn't. And unless you can show me video footage saying something else, that's what I'm going to believe. And the fact that they didn't want to bring in the finial or the spear or the flagpole or the flag into the court because they were afraid it would they were afraid that it would make him or you know,
Might
and
lose his
like to be so angry he would come and get it. He was behind a screen
in a different building.
in the detention center in Arlington, Virginia. How is he going to do that? That's ridiculous to think that
Yep.
he had such power. With
Yep.
great power comes great responsibility, man.
He might
Like,
get mad, and over Zoom he'll will the flagpole to come up.
he is like Thor. Really, he
Who's-
is like Thor. I mean,
Somebody was paddling conspiracy theories.
I know, right? But I know that he has got some nieces and nephews that adore him
Yeah.
and miss him and love him. And in the description, we have a way for you to write to him.
Yeah.
If you, we're not saying you have to, but if you want to send your, you know, letters to him, you can. If you want to put money into his commissary, you can. I mean, it's all up to you. Free will is a choice of your own, and that's how we like it. And because we like free will, we like our God-given rights, we like our rights given to us by the Constitution, and you know, we like all of those things, and that's why we just aren't about people having those rights being taken away by other people. So that leads me to my next thing that Chris and I have talked a lot about is the Marine who stood up
I don't know, switch screens to it so they can see
and
it.
called out the military
Yep.
and asked them to take ownership for what happened in Afghanistan, because somebody had to, and it didn't just happen by itself.
No.
And so, I mean, I, for one, I have to say thank you, sir, for doing that. I'm sorry that the consequence of you doing that is what it is, but I applaud you for doing it. So do you have any of the videos of what he said, or those are probably pretty long, right?
Yeah, I do have some of those. I'm not sure where the screen's gonna come up at.
Okay.
All right, we're good. Yeah, that you know, whenever you have a person that's going to go and say what he wants to say or needs to say in front of the world like that, as an officer or enlisted, you can't. You're not allowed to speak like that of the civilian world, and the politics is what you're not supposed to interject. And then there was like that guy who tried to say President Trump was trying to get the Ukrainians to do some investigation. That was a political move. What this guy did here, he said, "Look, you know, Marines are dead. This is stupid. There's no way. This needs to be handled a lot better." And that whole thing wasn't. And that's the horrible part.
Right.
I can tell you from my experience in Iraq that I've never seen a suicide bomber have a big enough bomb on him that he could take out 100 people plus all of the what you call it, 13 Marines. You know, that's huge. Yeah, here's a video.
Hey everybody, Lieutenant Colonel Stu Scheller coming at you from an abandoned school bus in eastern North Carolina. If you know me, you know.
Now, this is the second half of it. This isn't the first half. This is after he was relieved of his command, and
Okay.
this is his response to it.
Right. So they stripped him of his command and said, "You are relieved of your command. You can stay in the Marines for 3 more years and get your full pension when you
Right.
retire." Right.
Right. And there was one guy that he used to be connected with that he said, "You should, you know, give up your commission." This is by Bodbird's Body Language. This is her take on everything. She does a really good interpretation of it. I'll probably skip through most of her stuff because I want her to, you know, tell her story. And this is just kind of like what he's saying.
I've been overwhelmed by the outpouring of support over the last 72 hours since I made some statements in the public. I've also really appreciated the candor and the opposition, the people who think I should have handled it differently. I think the debate is healthy, and I appreciate and respect all sides of the conversation. But
So he's introduced himself. And I find it very interesting that he's sitting at with soul. It's ingrained was the plan.
peace with making some further statements, and that's the purpose of this video. You know, I'm not a religious guy, and I don't know if it's the...
So as he says this, he's...
I don't know if I'll be able to do it really well. Basically, she's saying he set it up on purpose to do psychological. He's saying, not subconsciously, he's in a bus. There's a battle scene up here, Marines in the snow, chessboard, a game is being played, and he's at the emergency exit. So that's what she's saying. He's made this entire scene for a reason. So he's probably got a little psych op background.
Mm-hmm. The end of that, you get a just from trying to...
Whether it's my combat experiences, whether it's the people that I've had in my life, they've all played a part in my successes and failures have brought me to this moment. Before I get to exactly what I want to say, I have two administrative notes. The first one is I just want to clarify my legal status. I have been relieved of my command, but I am still a United States Marine. Currently, I am not pending legal action.
So I found that kind of interesting too. He tells you he's been relieved of his command, but he is still a United...
That was hard to say. I could see that.
Live the dream for not many responsibilities in terms of leaning into the next thing, if that's what I so chose. The other thing is in terms of donations, lots of people have set up GoFundMe pages and want donations and contribute to the cause because they're all want to believe in something. I'll tell you right now, I haven't set up a single GoFundMe and I'm not asking for any money. There'll be a time for that because they're all want to believe in something. I'll tell you right now.
They all want to believe in something. And you see a lot of stress and you see a lot of pauses in that. And he's avoiding eye.
So some of this conversation will be really hard to deal with because it sounds like he's being very definitive and things are coming to an end. I think he has a task at hand that he's going to play his cards in and reveal some information, not do something nefarious, just so you know. How much does he want to see?
Just fast forward it to, well, this is important.
Okay.
You know, there's been a fascination with special
he's
forces.
not asking for money. People have set up GoFundMes for him. He's not asking for a dime from anybody. That time will come, but it's not now.
Right. He does say that his missus, his wife, she's deciding what she's going to stand on, what side of the fence, and that you can send her money.
Yeah.
So.
Over the last 15 years, special forces people that come in the middle of the night and they kill the biggest targets
to the part where he's like,
the United States has, and I have much respect. I worked in MARSOC for a year.
Where you want to go with it.
But what I'll say is the conventional Marine on the ground who has to smell burning shit, who, when I was in Ramadi, I was exposed to it so much.
I'm sorry, say again?
Where he's saying like he had to go do something on like the next day. Basically like this is his whatever. It's like at the very end.
Okay, yes.
That burning shit actually smelled like bacon and eggs, and I grew to enjoy the smell. Those people who are there every day and don't get to leave.
Say again?
I thought about you and he said that.
Yeah, I gotta check the audio here, sorry. Yeah, that I used to do that, burn the same stuff every day, and the way that the back was, it would create this devil vortex of fire taller than me.
Yeah.
The next morning or in the middle of the night, who go outside the wire, get blown up, bring their Marine back, and then go back out there the next day. They don't get the credit they deserve, and they deserve accountability. if Stuart Scheller was honorable, he would resign. You have no idea what I'm capable of doing.
Anyways, he finishes that off and goes down again. I don't know what this guy's planning. And I tell you what, secretly, I hope he's successful because I don't think it's going to be nice. Maybe it's a giant dump of information. Maybe it's something else. But I'm not going to look at it any further because I think for him, the mystery is better.
By the way, I wanted you to know that I love her work. She's right on it, almost everything.
Yeah, definitely. She really is. So, I know that my time is getting short on here.
Okay, got it. Copy.
So yeah, my 15-year-olds have decided they're gonna go from the high school over to, you know, the little strip mall that's not too far from it and hang out with all their little friends. And, you know, of course, their dad's like, oh, they've got phones and they're texting. Oh my God.
Oh my God, they're being boys. Stop being boys now.
I'm like, well, didn't you want them to go to a public high school so they could become socialized?
You know, boys will be boys, and you can't keep them in your closet forever because they'll take apart your house.
They will, but, you know, I want them to be, you know, well-rounded, socially adept.
They have to learn from their mistakes and trust them.
Right. And yeah, they're gonna have some no phone time this week. So
your favorite press secretary, you wanted to show that?
hang on, because I don't remember what exactly.
She speaks on the Marine who spoke out. It's that redheaded Dingleberry.
Well, I only sent these. These are because, like, the one was the first where it says he calls out the senior leaders about the Afghanistan failures.
Right.
The second one is he was relieved for the viral video, says he's now resigning his commission. And then the Yahoo one is where he's spoke with Yahoo News and says that he will likely face jail time.
Oh, they did, huh?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
You know, I don't see the military doing that because it was a gross injustice that happened. Of course, he stepped out of line, and that's going to happen. But I don't see them giving him a day. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't, because of what the president has done. The person they call the president. What would you like me to do?
Well, I mean, if you're saying they can't really do that, I mean, but we talked about it yesterday and how if it was something that was done while he was still a commissioned officer, they could court-martial him.
Oh yeah, they have lots of options, but I'm saying that they're not going to take it there. They'll be like, no, enough's been done. He's fine.
Yeah.
I think they will.
And I know that you had some stuff that you wanted to go over with regards to.
Yeah, and if you need to pop smoke, that's okay. To use an Army term.
Right.
I could show it.
What I'll do is I will let me do this real quick. Tyrone's in. Are you able to see the YouTube chat?
Yes, I am. Hi,
Okay.
Bren.
Yeah, because Tyrone's been all in there.
Tyrone. Wow. Yeah. Thanks, man. He's like a groupie. We should get him on here so he's not a groupie. He's a somebody follows him.
Right.
Yep. I'm going to switch screens real quick so I could do some administrative stuff.
Okay. And I'm going to actually this might be my children saying we need 10 more minutes. Yeah, nope, it wasn't. It was a text me when you're here. I'm going to log into the thing on here. So I can find you again. So I'm going to log into here. Logging into Zoom, you're going to need to let me in.
Hello. Second, please. Zoom. There you are. You're back.
I'm back.
your doppelganger is in there.
I know, right?
Yep. Yes, we should look at the doppelganger. Here you go. Woo, 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 woo. Paradox, paradox, paradox.
Okay.
And I switched it out. So I'm going to look. First of all, this is what CNN Deep Research Department looks like. My meme for the day. It's a picture of the monkeys checking each other out for fleas in their butt and stuff. So, and this is some interesting stuff here. Like Black Bloc, they got their marching orders from some special people. Some would call them the CIA, some would call them clowns, and so on. And they printed out these nice diagrams that they used in the Arab Spring. Oh, and then we used to have John McCain in Iraq with the terrorists. Hey, see this guy right here? You look familiar? He was the vice president, Pence. So the day I saw these two together, and I found that Pence was going for vice president, I was like, uh-oh. We have enemy in the wire. Enemy in the wire. And the reason I gotta bring some of this up is because
Talk about war in the Middle East.
This is Tom Fitton from Judicial Watch, and they bring you all. Your mic's still on, just so you know. Bring you all the dirty laundry. This is going to tell you some stuff about President Biden and President Obama.
All the king's horses and all the king's men are screaming about the idea that President Trump wants to send or bring home the 2,000 troops in Syria that are currently based there. Now, of course, the first question I have is how many Americans knew there were troops in Syria before President Trump announced he was bringing them home? How many Americans knew there were troops there? And even more importantly, how many Americans knew what their goal and their mission is? And I guarantee you, not too many. And I guarantee you, just as few commentators and politicians criticizing the president for wanting to do what he's generally promised, is to pull back the U.S. from these endless wars that don't protect our national security by his lights. They didn't know what was going on there in Syria either. And I guarantee you, if Trump was trying to increase troops in Syria, they'd probably oppose him. Tries to pull them out, they're going to oppose him. But you know, I have the facts on Syria here that you may not know about. And I've talked about it before, I think, on our prior updates, but this is material that was released by Judicial Watch before we started doing these weekly updates back in 2015.
Yeah, that's important to look at. That's important to look at. 2015 is when this came out. This is information that is extremely damning, and basically it'll show you, and make you understand that we, the United States government, trained ISIS. Just like Al-Qaeda, we trained them, ISIS, Muslim Brotherhood. Those guys are all there. And this is some documents that came out on accident, and they came from a funny guy, kind of interesting place. I have the documents here I'll be showing you as this goes along.
And they were uncovered as a result of our Benghazi litigation. Oh yes, Benghazi is tied to Syria and the rise of ISIS. And in perhaps some of the most important documents that Judicial Watch has ever uncovered, and I don't say that lightly. Judicial Watch will be, I think we're in our 25th year of operation next year. So these documents are real important. They show two things. They show that the Obama administration was well aware that arms were going to Syria, the conflict in Syria, out of Benghazi. And secondly, they show that the Obama administration, including the Secretary of State, were warned about the rise of ISIS and that they were supporting terrorists in the internecine warfare in Syria. Specifically, the documents detail the arms being shipped out of Syria in unbelievable detail. As we say, the DoD documents contain the first official documentation that the Obama administration knew that weapons were being shipped from the port of Benghazi to rebel troops in Syria. An October 2012 report, this is a report a month after the terrorist attack on our special mission compound that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama all lied about. Weapons from the former Libya military stockpiles were shipped from the port of Benghazi, Libya, to the port of Banias and the port of Borja Islam, Syria. The weapons shipped during late 2012 were sniper rifles, RPGs, and 125 millimeter and 155 millimeter howitzer missiles. During the immediate aftermath of and following the uncertainty caused by the downfall of the Gaddafi regime, remember, Gaddafi was murdered with the approval of Obama and Hillary. They wanted that regime to fall. In October 2011 and up until early September 2012, weapons from the former Libya military stockpiles located in Benghazi, Libya, were shipped from the port of Benghazi, Libya to the ports of Banias and the port of Borj Islam, Syria. The Syrian ports were chosen due to the small amounts of cargo traffic transiting these two ports. The ships used to transport the weapons were medium-sized and able to hold 10 or less shipping containers or cargo. And this is a Defense Intelligence Agency document. By the way, you know who ran the DIA and issued this report? It was General Flynn. No wonder Obama didn't like him. The weapons shipped from Syria during late August 2012, I said where I described the weapons, and they get into the numbers. The numbers for each weapon were estimated to be 500 sniper rifles, 100 RPG launchers with 300 total rounds, and approximately 400 howitzer missiles. In fact, I think it was in this document, they were able to describe the rooms in which they were stored. So what's unclear about this document is who was doing the shipping. Many have alleged it was done with U.S. Obama administration support. Certainly the level of detail suggests that they were in a position to stop it in the least.
There you go. Basically, you got your bad guys caught red-handed with their hands in the cookie jar. They were funding ISIS. That's like when Obama was asked, hey, what's your plan with ISIS? And he's like, oh, I haven't come up with a strategy yet. What? And the parts where, people were getting their heads cut off and stuff like that, some of that was fake. Oh, some of it was real, totally real. Like they were really throwing gay people off the roofs, handcuffed. Totally real. People that they cut their skin off, or they ate part of their liver, or they put them on a crucifix, all real. All the Christians that are now gone because we couldn't let those be refugees in America, but we could let everybody else over here. The part that slavery is now in Libya, that used to be there 100 years ago, yeah, that's still happening, and we stopped that. So yeah, all that's super stuff there. Super stuff. So anyways, that was he's talking about, and that's what you need to know a little bit about. Let's see, what do I have here for you? That. Thank you very much. That's a good conversation there. I'm gonna let somebody in the room here. Hold on. Be back just a second. Admit. That appears to be Brent again. Hello, Brent again. And switching screens time now. So, here we go. This will be incredible. So, now we're looking at what would be known as a piece of information given to me by some interesting fellows. Back in 2016, I somehow met up with some anonymous folks and they gave me some information. This guy here, Valley or Valey or whatever you want to call him, he's a 2-star general, and she's gone. He was utilized to go over to Syria and find ISIS and pay them and get them a place to stay and all that kind of stuff, a base. So yeah, he did that. So that's for PSYOPs, by the way. And Bren's here. Oops, where'd you go, Bren? Can admit. There we go. They had some private contractors helping out too. Look at that. They didn't do so good. This is a company here, ISIS. That's a real company. It was out of Arizona and had an office in D.C., Washington, D.C. So yeah, that's all real. And John McCain was very helpful with that. Yep, and Lindsey Graham. And that is ISIS. But here is an article that also fortifies what I'm saying and regurgitates a lot of the same information that I'm talking about. Hi, Bren. Look like you're staring down at me. It's kind of creepy. But this is special operations here telling the White House to go pound sand. We're tired of helping train ISIS. Yeah, that's them saying that. We're tired of training ISIS. And this is a ambassador. Yeah. So yeah, this is a great article. That I had on that. Damascus X, Syria. Super guys. Yep, that's them. And basically what happened is we'd bring the terrorists over here to America and we'd take them to our military bases and we would train them to be terrorists. That's super. That's good, huh? Yep. Looks like a K-bar. I don't remember what's next. Okay. Oh. I don't know if you see that very well. It's a Trans Am in the background, Iraq. There's a couple more things. Who's right there? Ah, Stevens with McCain. And she's gone. I don't think she can hear me or I can't hear her. Now this is McCain with actually ISIS and al-Baghdadi. And, oh, Marco Rubio. Huh, amazing. I can't remember that guy. Yeah, oh, this guy here, he's the guy that you would see later on taking a bite out of a human liver. That they just killed the guy. Yeah, it's gross. Stevens, this is them all sitting down in Syria. A lot of people from the Middle East were really upset when they saw this. Like really, 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 really upset. Okay. Some more Muslim Brotherhood guys from Egypt. Ones. So these should look familiar to you. Black Bloc, we did it in all through the Middle East, and we also did it in America. Nice, huh? Super. Thank you, CIA. You're the best ever. I'm gonna look over here in chat real quick. In Tennessee? What's in Tennessee? Hi, Brad. Yep. Kind of, sort of. Oh, 3 people in Twitch are watching. So it's All three of us. Okay. And there we are again. And to switch out to some of the more grittier stuff for you. And we'll rotate back. Where's my folder? I wanted to tell you this one here. This is a real special one. So there's a screwball right here. This guy, his eye is like cuckoo that way. And this guy's eye over here works okay. So that's kind of weird, but yeah, I can make fun of him because mine does that sometimes too. And this guy here is like asleep, but then awake. And if you look how they're holding their weapons here, this has been trained by Americans on how to do this. I think they're mercenaries, really. But something else is coming soon. A comment's made here, and this is the Taliban guys saying, hey, we're here. It's going to work out just fine. It'll be great. Everybody's going to like this.
سلام و درود بر شما بیننده های شبکه جهانی افغانستان. به ویژه برنامه پرداز باز هم شما را خوش آمدید میگویم. میرویس حیدری حق دوست هستم، شما را دعوت میکنم تا پایان این برنامه با ما همراه باشید. طالبان هستند تانوس که به مردم میدهند، ولی انتقادات موجود دارد که عملکرد طالبان و گفتارشان یک کمی تفاوت دارد. مردم میخواهند که باید گفتار و کردار طالبان با او تعهدی که به مردم میکنن باید یکسان باشد. در برنامه فعلا با ما جناب قاری سمیولا، یکی از فرماندهان اعضای امارت اسلامی در استودیو با ما هستند. به اینا در نخست خوش آمدید میگم. جناب سمیولا صاحب ډیر ښه راغلاست خپرونې ته.
ولس د پاره به زمونږ تمرکز په دې وي چې وطن د پرمختګ لپاره یوسو ان شاء الله اسلامي نظام به اسلامي د چتر لاندې. اول پیغام مو هیوادوالو ته دا ده چې هیڅ تشویش مه کوئ، خپل وطن کې خپل کورونو کې اوسېږئ. دا هیواد د ستاسو ته ضرورت لري او موږ او تاسو حفاظت به کوو ان شاء الله. کوشش کوو موږ چې د افغانستان
This is getting really weird. Establish a safe and atmosphere for all provinces of Afghanistan.
هر ولایتونو کې د امن فضا رامنځته کړو، عوام خلک دې تشویش نه کړي.
That's the word we're looking for. Mujahideen. So we want the Afghanistan people to be comfortable with what's going to happen here, and the Mujahideen working with them. Mujahideen means the MEK from Iraq. They were Persians that were disenfranchised, so to speak, dissidents, and they were used by Mossad and CIA to be trained to go in and kill and spy on the Iranians for the CIA and Mossad. And they were kind of considered to be a terrorist group. And they were in Iraq in 2003, 2004, when I was the military police. We came up on them, like, what do we do with these guys? Because they're not Iraqis, but they have guns and tanks and helicopters and stuff. And they're pointing outward, but they're not doing anything to us. And so we discarded them. And we ended up not getting that tasking and moved on. But they lost their terrorist status and became just an organization the day after Benghazi. Isn't that weird? And then they got all these cars and helicopters and tanks, just like ISIS was given a big fat paycheck of American toys. The Taliban did the same thing. And guess who's with them again? The Mujahideen. It's almost like they're setting it up all over again for giant massacres and for some kind of travesty to happen and then blame it on the bad guys, wink, wink. And when it's all orchestrated. Just saying, you should probably keep an eye on that. Mujahideen, and they're called MEK. Well, let's see here. I don't want to take a lot of time, but I do have a little bit of candy for the end, and I think I'll play that here. We got coffee time. Now, this is just for today, and Well, thank you. That's it for today. That was a kind of short one. Family calls. Recommend going over and watching Patrick Berge or Tor. Tor's not on right now, but Patrick is. Have a good day. Thanks, everybody. And be safe. Keep your head on a swivel. See something, say something. Thank you.